Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 10. Last verse and then 11, first verse. Uttānapada Bhagavam stava sharn gadanva devaha kshinotva avanattarti haro vipakshanan yennamadeyam abhidaya nishamya chadda lokanjasa tarati dustaram angamrityum. All the sages said, Dear Dhruva, O son of King Uttānapada, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Sharnagadhanva, who relieves the distress of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai. The great rishis approached Dhruva Mahārāja at a time when his mind was very perplexed due to the magical feats exhibited by the yakshas. A devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his inspiration only, the sages came to encourage Dhruva Mahārāja and assured him that there was no danger, because he was a soul fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. By the grace of the Lord, if a devotee at the time of death can simply chant his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting this Mahamantra, he immediately surpasses the great ocean of material sky and enters the spiritual sky. He never has to come back for repetition of birth and death. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can surpass the ocean of death. So Dhruva Mahārāja was certainly able to surpass the illusory magical feats of yakshas, which for the time being disturbed his mind. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th Canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Dhruva Mahārāja's fight with yakshas. Chapter 11, text 1. Maitreya uvacha nishamya gadatamevam rishinam dhanushidruvaha sandadeyastram upasprishya yennārāyana nirmitam. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Mahārāja heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the Achamana by touching water and then took up his arrow made by Lord Narayana and fixed it upon the bow. Purport. Dhruva Mahārāja was given a specific arrow made by Lord Narayana himself, and he now fixed it upon his bow to finish the illusory atmosphere created by the yakshas. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Māmevaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Without Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one is able to overcome the action of the illusory energy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sangopangastra. In this age, Narayanastra, or weapon to drive away Maya, is a chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in pursuance to the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda, Gadadhara, and Srivasa. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So the previous chapter was description of the terrific fight Dhruva Mahārāja had with the yakshas. The yakshas, they created a very powerful illusion to bring fear into him. Suddenly the battlefield, he saw very fearful things. Battlefield, when Dhruva Mahārāja was talking with his charioteer, they heard a tremendous sound, as if the whole ocean was there. And they found from the sky a great dust storm coming from all directions. All yakshas created all these things. In a moment, the whole sky was overcast with dense clouds, and severe thundering was heard. There was glittering electric lightning, and severe rainfall. The rainfall was blood, mucus, pus, stool, urine, marrow falling heavily from before Dhruva Mahārāja. And there were trunks of bodies falling from the sky. Next, a great mountain was visible in the sky, and from all directions hailstones fell along with lances, clubs, swords, iron, bludgeons, and great pieces of stone. Dhruva Mahārāja also saw many big serpents with angry eyes vomiting forth fire and coming to devour him, along with groups of mad elephants, lions, and tigers. Then, as if it were the time for dissolution of the whole world, fierce sea with foaming waves, great roaring sounds came forward before him. The demon yakshas are by nature very heinous, and by the demoniac power of illusion, they can create many strange phenomena to frighten one who is less intelligent. When the great sages heard that Dhruva Mahārāja was overwhelmed by the illusory mystic tricks of the demons, they immediately assembled to offer him auspicious encouragement. All the sages said, Dhruva Mahārāja, O son of Uttānapada, may the Supreme Personality known as Sharanagandhanva, who relieves the devotees, distress of the devotees, Sharangadhanva, who relieves the distress of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can fully be protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus a devotee is saved. Now here it comes, this chapter. My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Mahārāja heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the Achamana by touching water and took up his arrow made by Lord Narayana, fixed it upon his bow. So, the powerful weapon is a weapon made by Narayana Rishi. It had is described here. Even as Dhruva Mahārāja fixed the weapon made by Narayana Rishi onto his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like wings of a swan flew from it. They entered the enemy soldiers with a hissing sound, just as peacock enters a forest with a tumultuous crowing. So this is about the Narayanastra, how Narayanastra was used by Dhruva Mahārāja to relieve from the illusory sights that was presented before him to scare him by the yakshas. It is very surprising that how much the material energy can be manipulated by mystic power, if you hear these descriptions. So even material energy is not an ordinary energy. By mystic power, because it's Krishna's energy, only wonderful effects can be created. Visual effects can be created as it's created here by the yakshas. And Dhruva Mahārāja, they saw that Dhruva Mahārāja was getting bewildered, the demigods. So immediately they encouraged him by telling him that you have Narayana-astra and Namadheyam, chant the name, and Namadheyam abhidhaya, uttering, nishamya, hearing, uttering and hearing the Narayana Astra, you can overcome all these powerful illusory effects. Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratya mameve prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This is an important revelation in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that to overcome Maya, we have to surrender to him. Otherwise, it's very difficult to overcome Maya. The Maya energy of the Lord first makes us feel that we are part of this world by identification with this body. And then finally, at the time of death, that story is over. Then again, next one begins. So the goal of a devotee's life is to come out of these illusory stories in one body, then another one in another, next life, next life. Where do I eternally belong to? Who is my eternal relatives? These are all very fundamental questions that a human being should ask. That's what they should ask, whether they ask or not, but that's what they should ask. Because basically we all live our lives. Once we identify with the body, then we say this is our life. And we spend all our energy for our life, so-called life. But that so-called life in this body is not our life. So when one lives under the conception that I am this body, my interests are my body's interest, then he is trapping his all-powerful soul. Spiritually powerful soul is trapped in this material energy. And then it is like a prison house. So this prison house is this Maya. Now just like Yakshas created before Dhruva Mahārāja, that is a secondary Maya, Maya within Maya. But this whole material world itself is like Yakshas' creation. Suppose you are in the spiritual world, just like Dhruva Mahārāja in this world, suddenly Yakshas created a secondary, illusory world for him in front of him. Suppose we are in the spiritual world, similar thing had happened, let us say. Another reality is presented before us by the magic of Krishna. The whole material creation is the magic of Krishna. It's a magical world because it has no... Magical world means energy is true. But the meaning of everything in this material world is false. Therefore, it's called magical world. Just like if the drama is going on the stage, the fact, the stage, the players, the drama is happening, that is a fact. But the story of the drama is illusion. In the same way, Maya's prakshepatmika shakti, bewildering potency, she creates a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. What is there in the spiritual world? She creates a perverted reflection of perverted enjoyment by perverted false egos. So entire material world itself is an illusory effect. And the only way to get out of that, as just now we saw, Daiva-Varṇāśrama mama maya duratyaya. And what is the way for that? Illusion is a perception. So transcendental knowledge is a solution. Transcendental knowledge, how does it come? By the mercy of the holy names of the Lord. Just like through Narayana-astra, he killed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dhruva Mahārāja killed the asuras. With Narayana-astra, he demolished all these illusions. Prabhupada very beautifully says that right now in this Kali-yuga, Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtana Prayayar Yajantihi Sumedasha, that the living entities can come out of this illusion. In this illusion, there is forgetfulness of Krishna. Krishna is nowhere in the scene. Each of us are thinking, I am independent. That is called false ego. We take birth, then slowly we identify with this body. Then we think, I am the body. Then we see everybody else is a body. So you have created your world. So we all have created our world within ourselves. The world outside is one. But I have a world inside me, you have a world inside you, you have a world inside you, each of us have a world inside us. Whole universe inside us. And we have our own world and we interact with the others, with their world. This world is also a lie, that world is also a lie. Illusion means it doesn't exist. For instance, in this material world, we see there are males and females. In the spiritual world, there are males and females. But they are of Chinmaya Sharira. So illusion means to create a Chinmaya Sharira like bodies, so that we think this is male, that is female. So everybody identifies with a material body, with a gender. Then there is a story of that life. Relationship, rasas, sense enjoyments, and that is each of our world. So we are trapped in this material world, in false relationships, false forms, false persons. False persons are called false egos, false persons. But all of these false egos, they all utilize the soul. Soul alone can think, feel and will, enjoy everything. So therefore we say the false ego haunts the soul. The ghost haunts the soul. So as it is said here, by chanting and hearing the holy names of the Lord, a reservoir of Satya Chitta and Ananda, reservoir of all power, spiritual power, Chit, spiritual knowledge, Ananda, spiritual pleasure, with the strength from the holy name, one stops asat perceptions. He only sees there are only souls in this material world. Soul, super soul. That is a satya. Everything is an effect. My body is an effect. My life is an effect. But I am Sat. But my identification as I am this body is Asat. That's not me. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you are the servant of the Lord. Jivera Surupoi Nityera Krishna Dasa. Nitya Krishnera Dasa. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has revealed. What is the soul? Not Mr. So, Mrs. So and so of this world. No. There is a social ego. The point of death, it completely dies. Just like previous life, whatever, as soon as the body died, my whole story in that body is over. I have no connection at all. That means it was not my life. Similarly, in this life, if we live simply centered around our body, I am this body, it is a foolish life. If you think I am the servant of Krishna and use this body, then even now you are living in the spiritual world. A liberated life. And that is exactly what the spiritual master is teaching us. His mercy is giving. He is giving us this mercy of ending this story of material life. Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karnya ghana ganatvam. By His mercy, we come out of this story. And we get into the real story, real life, eternal story. Just like we live here in the temple, the deities, centered around the deities. This is the house of the deities. The Lord is living here. So our story changes from material life to spiritual life. The deities relate with all the devotees in the temple. The deity relates with thousands of people who are coming to pay darshan. He is unlimited personality. Everyone who comes and pays respect to him, he doesn't forget. So there is a real life going on in this temple. And the boss is Krishna, the Supreme Lord is Krishna, and his eternal consort. So Archa Vigraha, they come wherever there is Bhakti Rasa, they will come. So our Acharya has created. Even sadhana bhakti you give, that is also bhakti, as far as the Lord is concerned. Prabhupada explains there is no difference between a raw mango and a ripe mango. Mango is mango. Raw mango only becomes ripe. Similarly, sadhana bhakti is like raw mango. From Krishna's point of view, it is mango. Slowly that becomes spontaneous bhakti. That same raw mango becomes ripe mango. As far as Krishna is concerned, he is receiving it. Sadhana bhakti and pure bhakti. He takes it on the same platform. Sadhana bhakti is executed with strict obedience to the spiritual master. Wanting to become pure, always. As far as Krishna is concerned, if you have a desire to want to be pure, Krishna gives you the same credit as pure. Krishna does not, whatever attempts you make, Krishna gives credit for even trying to be pure. This is very important to know that. One should not think that only when I become pure, Krishna will notice me. If you are trying to be pure, Krishna will notice us. Prabhupada says this. So merciful he is. Just like there is a long ladder to go back to Godhead, or a long ladder to become pure. So Krishna says it doesn't matter which step you are in. You are in the first step or you are in the 100th step. If you are sincerely trying to climb up to the next step, from first step to second step to third step and fourth step, and if somebody is in the 100th step and he is not moving up to 101, 102, you get more credit than that. Because from Krishna's point of view, first step and 100th step does not make any difference, because ultimately, to reach him, you have to go have 1,000,000 steps. And finally, he only holds the hand wherever, whichever step you are, and then Guru and Krishna takes you back to Godhead. It is not that by the time you die, you have reached the 1,000,000th step and therefore you go back, just pass on. No. A pure devotee's mercy, Prabhupada says, I'll take you back to Godhead. If you simply follow his instructions, then he'll purify us in a second and take us back. If we want to go, of course. That is very important. We would want to go back to Godhead. So anyway, as Prabhupada is explaining here in this purport, that today's our Kali-yuga astra is chanting Hare Krishna. So here Dhruva Mahārāja did Achaman and he strung his Narayana-astra. Similarly, our Achaman is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Buddha. Moment there is an enemy, chant Panchatattva and then send the arrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very important. He did Achaman and then he sent. And here Prabhupada says, Sangopanga Parshadam. Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasadi. By their mercy, this astra will be very powerful. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And very powerful means what? It can finish illusion. Life becomes very clear. What is Maya becomes very clear. How to come out of Maya becomes very clear. What is false ego becomes very clear. How material sense gratification is a poison becomes very clear. How this material life is a cheating life becomes very clear. That clarity comes from pure Sat Chit energy from the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And once that clarity comes, our desire changes, our thinking changes, feeling, willing, everything changes to what is our original thinking, feeling, willing, everything. Nobody can conquer death. Death is a fact. Death of the body is a fact. No one we have heard of was conquered bodily death. But death is a concept. Just like I eternally exist, my existence ends. So death is a interpretation of this something happening to the body. It's an interpretation. Because of that interpretation is illusion. Because the soul never dies, soul never born. Birth of the body is illusion, continuation of the body is illusion, death of the body is illusion. In between birth and death, every activity that we do, it is not activity, means not actions. Every meaningful activity. We think, I am this body, my bodily relatives are mine, my life story, their life story. Everybody in this material world has his own life story. But that is not his own life story. Living somebody else's life. That is why once one, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, if the transcendental knowledge shines in our heart, from the association of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Why it is said he liberated? Liberated means he liberated from illusory life centered around I am this body, other people are their bodies. That is a goal. Liberation from ignorance. Liberation means liberation from ignorance. Ignorance is another Shakti. Maya Shakti of the Lord. Pure Chit is another Shakti of the Lord. Internal potency of the Lord. Samvit Shakti. So one Shakti should push out. Only the pure knowledge Shakti can push out these illusions. And that's possible only by the mercy of the Lord. For that we should also desire. I don't want this story. Very clearly it's a story I create in my mind. It's a bubble. A bubble of drama life, starting with birth and ending with death. What all I think as me, what all I think as my activity, what all I think as mine, It's all not mine. Because I don't exist anymore. As Madhu Pandit, I don't exist anymore. Previous life, Mr. So-and-so, I don't exist. I don't even associate with all those things as mine. So therefore it's called a bubble. Bubble bursts. The death bubble bursts. So the transient nature of material world we create in our mind, that can dissolve only by pure Sattva Chitta Shakti. And that very important that we chant and we hear. When we hear, we are taking that Shakti inside. Drinking the medicine through the ears. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is, we should chant and hear in that particular mood. That the Lord has descended as a holy name, just so that I take that as a medicine now. Medicine and tonic for my soul. Actual energy, when let's say you take a medicine through your mouth, you're putting another energy into your system. In the same way, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Shakti Avashanama, is an energy. And that energy is not asat, achit, not ignorant energy. It is sat and chit, and ananda energy. We associate with that, then automatically, if we have, if when the sat energy flows from hearing of the holy name, when sat energy flows, immediately the idea that I am this body will just vanish. Because illusion exists, illusion does not exist. Illusion exists only in perception. Perception is gone, illusion is gone. That's why repeatedly, many times I pointed out, Maya is not outside, Maya is inside. The world we create is a Maya. These are all material energy is facilitating Maya. It is created in such a way that if you want Maya, now you can get Maya. You create a Maya world. You become Krishna conscious, then you see everybody is running in illusion. Bodies are real. Soul is real. Material energy is real. But the interpretation of the soul of all these things is unreal. As I said, everybody has their own universe. That universe is centered. Center of that universe is I am this body. The soul which is boundless, servant of the Lord, gets trapped to think I am this body and works for the bodily interest. So people live in this world thinking I am the body. Pure devotees live in this world. They also have personal life. But they're not in illusion. They think this body is to be used in service of the Lord. It's a yantra. I am the person. Body is not the person. I am the person. Identifying with the body. Those who are in illusion thinking I am the body. Once association of Sat and Chit through hearing the holy name makes this energy flow into us, automatically we will see the world differently. We won't see the world at which everybody else is seeing. You see, free from Maya. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who sees the soul, the super soul within the body, already conquers the mind. Why conquers the mind? Conquering the mind means conquering the mind's world. He is seeing another world. Soul is Satya, super soul is Satya, and these are all effects that is going around the soul and super soul. So these are details, but the secret is given here. Maya is a power. Daiviyesha gunamayi. Mama maya dhuratyaya. It's a power, it's energy of the Lord. Lord has got various energies. Unless you have another energy, you cannot overcome this energy. That is the reason. Whole Bhakti Yoga, whole Krishna consciousness is not about intellectualization. It's about associating with source of intelligence. Continuously associate with the Surya of Satchidananda, Krishna Nama, and then it will free us eventually. It's so powerful, it will free us of all conditioned way in which we see this world. We see males, we feel females, we see the world like that. The soul is materially genderless. The soul is materially bodiless, spiritually bodiless. Suppose you forget your real body and then you enter another body. What are you called? Ghost. So spiritually speaking, we have forgotten our spiritual bodies, or we are ghosts in all these material bodies. And then what role play that ghost will take is determined by the body. The body tells, I am a male, I am a female. So in the material world, the whole concept of male, female is all ghosts. Soul is simply eternal servant of Krishna. It has its own gender, everything in the spiritual world. That is different, the spiritual body. Our goal is to get back our spiritual body. Not this body, to another body, to another body, to another body. No. What is my real body? Who are my eternal connections of that body? I am part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna, I am servant of Krishna. So all the complete liberation from illusion happens simply by, as it is described here, chanting and hearing that very chant. You don't have to do anything. Over the time you will see all the cloud in our chittam is disappearing. Cloud of attachments, cloud of beliefs. Everything dissolves by the flow of energy from the Nama. So that is why it is extremely important, we keep telling, that really all your spiritual advancement comes from how much you have heard Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How many Hare Krishna Mahamantra you have heard? That much is your score of spiritual advancement. Miracles will happen. The whole inside-outside will turn around. And liberation gives pleasure also. When you know that somebody has tied you, as long as they tied you and kept you for a long time, you have forgotten. You are thinking that my normal situation is I am always tied. Just like elephants. When they are baby, they put a chain. So baby elephant's leg is not very strong. It tries to pull away, it cannot. It cannot break the chain. So then it is continuously conditioned to think that chain is binding me. I cannot go beyond the chain. This baby elephant has become very big. Its power is so much, 10 times that thickness of chain it can, one pull it can break. That weld can break. But that elephant, same thickness chain, is still there because he believes that he cannot break it. He has created a belief. He will never try to break it. Simply, if the heavy leg of that one pull like that, the link will open up and come. So this is bondage. Suppose, let us say, the elephant realizes, "Arey, my God, what an illusion it is. Oh, one pull. Oh, I am free. How long I have been sitting and thinking that I am this body. No other go. One pull out, you're out of the bodily concept. Just like the elephant feels liberated. Similarly, this life thinking that I am this body is like living in a well. By the mercy of the flow of Satchit energy from the Harinama, suddenly we will find ourselves not feeling limitations of this body. We feel we are in the ocean. Liberation. Bodily desires vanish. Bodily interest vanish. Instead of bodily desires, you have desires, transcendental desires to please Krishna. Everything is transformed into. It's not that we stop desiring, not that we stop thinking, not that we stop willing, not that we stop relating with people. Everything happens. But that is from a liberated platform. The interest is all Krishna. The I am this body is an anchor. Suppose there is a peg and there is a 50 feet rope. All our lives are like that. There is a peg. Peg is what? I am this body. Like a cow is tied in a 100 feet rope, there is a peg in the ground, right? So my whole life is nothing but me and mine. And who is that me? This body. And the truth is that you are not that body. At the time of death, bubble breaks. That means the whole life you went around a peg, going round, 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 round. What is this life? Is it not? Whole life you are going around one, because if you analyze everything, it is centered around the idea that I am this body, identification. When you start living, I am servant of Krishna, body is only an instrument, then that center is, that peg is pulled out. Freely you can move to serve Krishna. In your thinking, in your feeling, liberated thinking, liberated feeling, liberated willing, liberated feelings, liberated emotions. So it's the whole Krishna consciousness is not simply some post-dated check, it's a science. It works through the astra of Harinama. Any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita purport. Prabhupada writes that even if a devotee is a neophyte, if he has a firm faith that Lord and the holy name are non-different, he is to be considered a pure devotee. So that means that neophyte means he is a prospective candidate because of having that firm faith that Lord and holy name are non-different. So that very quickly pushes him towards pure devotional service. Is that the meaning?
Yes.
Because then why we say that even though he is a neophyte devotee, maybe in the current stage he may be neophyte, but that faith and that service pushes him towards pure devotional service very quickly. Is that the meaning?
Just like I gave example, green mango and ripe mango. Same mango only has become ripe. Isn't it? So if you have faith and continue the process, you will become a ripe mango. Since you are following the process, you will become the ripe mango. There is no harm in calling you ripe mango. There is no question, you will ripen and you will become. So if you have a sincere desire to become pure and have faith in the process, what is the process? Associating with the Lord, holy name, deities, Vaishnavas, all that association. Then you will 100% you will become pure devotee. Subject to not making offenses. So that's all. That's why it is so important. The opportunity for association is given so much by Prabhupada through this Krishna Consciousness movement. Automatically we'll progress, provided we don't make offenses. Offense is the only retardant. Hearing the holy name makes us advance so fast. Any other question?
Bro, one more question, bro. This regarding advancement in devotional service. Like I would have served for many years in this movement, but suppose if there is a devotee who has just come in touch with a movement, so he would have already finished maybe 90-95% of his devotional service in previous life. Maybe at that point of time he has just come in touch in devotional service. But as far as I am concerned, if I am for many years in this service, but I may think that means I am more senior than him. So how to strike a balance between this? Whether number of years or what value is there for number of years in devotional service? Because if we consider in that way also, if suppose for many years I have served here, because I have done sadhana for so many number of years, that also matters. But I cannot, because I am not like a pure devotee, spiritual master who can see the advancement of a particular jiva who is coming in touch with Krishna consciousness. So how to understand
So
that?
you should keep these two things separate. Social seniority and seniority of the soul. Keep them separate. Social seniority is social seniority. Don't take it as absolute. Where each Atma stands in his bhakti in relationship Guru and Krishna, you don't try to measure. Social seniority is maintained as a process of Vaishnava Sangha, where there are etiquettes. Somebody is seen as senior, junior, everybody, even the senior sees, he will have some other seniors. He sees, even a senior is junior to another senior. Isn't that? So it's not that senior means absolute, I am now senior. You are junior to somebody. So it's not. These are all social seniority, which will teach us how to live in a Vaishnava society. It's not about absolute. And slowly we will be able to see the spiritual progress of the person, independent of the seniority, you will be able to see by the effect of association. When you associate with such persons, when you feel encouraged, he may be my junior, but I get inspired when I hear him, when I talk to him. So he has got wonderful realizations. By association, you may be benefiting. So, better not measure that. We learn how to be humble. Because the Shastra says that in a Vaishnava society, one should see equals, seniors, and juniors. And there is a function for each. How should I deal with my seniors? How should I deal with my peers? How I should deal with my juniors? This is designed not to create senior-junior idea. It is to create an idea of mutual respect in the society. Therefore, it is a Shastric injunction. We should follow that Vaishnava etiquette. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.